Welcome back. It's been too long. If you ask me, I've missed it. I'm getting old, that's why. That's why I take so long to do the next one. And I wait and I wait. Until I feel just right. And that never comes. So I'm going to do it anyway. So welcome back to Emerging Truths. My name is Larry Gerndt, and I am an alcoholic. Just kidding. The music you're hearing is from 1986. It was a band I was in. And we made one album, vinyl, and it was called Tag. It was called Jigsaw, which was just a stupid name. And the name of the band was called Tag, so Tag, like a clothes tag. Yeah. We liked it. We were very high at the time. Speaking of, no, I'll wait. Before I get into tonight's topic, which is the Transfiguration event of Jesus, which is a rather short event, but worth digging into because it was he became like a glowing, shining being. So we need to look at that and ask what's going on there. Why was that done? But before I get to that, I wish it was more interactive so that I could ask you how you're doing. But let's just hope that everyone's doing well. If you're watching this, you're probably making it. So congrats, because the world is going crazy. And it's my opinion that we're headed to the Armageddon, apocalypse, which, as I said last week, I like to think of as, last time, it was about a month ago, I like to think of the apocalypse as the literal meaning, which is the great revealing. Yeah, so that's going to come. I don't know when, it feels like it's going to come soon. But, actually what feels like it's going to come soon is this UFO thing is going to blow up. But I need to talk about that first a little bit. If you're not aware, or if you are and you just want to vent with me, I'm going to be venting a little bit about what a farce that hearing was. We did have a public hearing. That's great, It could have been amazing. In Congress, we had a public hearing of two Pentagon officials who were called to testify about where we're at. And basically, in a nutshell, they gave almost no information. What they did do was a deliberate attempt to downplay the whole thing, because they know that the main question people want answered is, who's doing this? Is it China? Is it Russia? Or is it other? And they didn't answer that question, but they tried to insinuate that it might just be, what did they say? They said that whatever it was, they felt confident they could mitigate any threat that it posed, which is a ridiculous statement to make. But it shows you where their mind is at, right? They don't know. They have no idea how smart the public is on these issues, and so they think they can pull the wool. Oh God, this subject is so difficult because, as you know, it's a compartmented program, right? And we're going to talk about the Wilson document tonight a little bit too, because it talks about this compartmented program, special access program. But because it's a special access program, there's only like a small number of people who actually know what in the hell's going on, and the rest of the people above them don't know. And so it's like it wasn't always that way, but the secrecy became, originally there was probably valid reasons that we would have all agreed with, right? So to just hold on to it, hide it, and because it might be like the next atomic bomb for the military. They were already very proud that they had gotten the atomic bomb and used it to great success, thinking that God was on our side because we're the best country, which is far from the truth, but it might be. It still might have its merits, right, as a melting pot, maybe. But anyway, because because of the compartmentation, these bozos that they sent up there to testify and do a disinformation job on us don't even know that this shit is real. They don't even. I mean, they don't even have the depth that you and I have on this at all. I mean, it was obvious. So that was annoying to me. Annoying. I mean, I literally, that's probably why I haven't broadcast since then. It's been about, what, 5 days now since the hearing. I've been depressed most of them just because it was a big letdown, and I knew I should not get my hopes up, right? But I did. And, Jolie's seen me go through this so many times. It's Lucy and the football all over again, right? Anyway, all is not lost, folks. And I know some of you already know that, but all is not lost. We're gonna get through this. It's a roller coaster ride, But yeah, in the hearing, what they did was first they played a video, and they didn't seem to be able to know how to control their Windows video player, so they couldn't even freeze the frame. And what they were trying to freeze it on was a little spherical, blurry gray UFO that was on frame in the frame for 3 frames in the camera for 3 frames. And it was just zipping by, and they're giving they said they gave this as an example of how little some of these reports that in the 400 400 reports now that they've got to investigate, some of them are just this little. Okay, well, you know what? You didn't need to. You could have just shown like a picture and gotten, but no, you got everybody excited to show them. That was the first video they showed was. Oh yeah, so the first video that came right out and debunked it, and it was one of the videos that Jerry Corbell had made, and it showed up right along with all the Nimitz videos, right? And we've seen all of these many times. And this is the one about the triangle, and that one has been around for about 3 months now. The blinking triangle, the whole thing. And so they said it was a very likely a camera effect, an SLR camera effect, despite the fact that the person who took the video not testified, I mean, he said that no, it wasn't just a flat triangle, it was a pyramid. And he could see that with his naked eye. So it didn't come through in the night vision very well. But so they ignored his testimony and just said it's probably a camera effect. Okay. So that was a bunch of bullshit right there on purpose, disinformation. I mean, it could have been. I mean, I know cameras do have this effect, but I don't think that's what we were looking at, and I don't think we should discount what the witness said. But that aside, they went on to the next one, which was the one I just told you about. Really, just spent 5 minutes trying to learn how to freeze the frame, and they couldn't do it. So they had to call in some experts. And really, I asked myself, what the hell are they showing this stupid video for? Right? And I told you what their answer was, but I mean, I couldn't avoid thinking that they're showing a crappy little video like this because they want us to think that, most of them are just like this. There's nothing to them. And that's bullshit. And that's a lie. They've got video like Lou Elizondo's been talking about. He's seen it himself. It's 24 minutes long and it's crystal clear. It would convince the world that we're dealing with extraterrestrial vehicles here. But they won't show that one, no. So what the hell are they doing? Well, I'm going to tell you what they're doing because I was just listening to Steve Bassett, and he made such a great point. If you're not aware, Bassett is an old-timer in this field, and I think his claim to fame was back around Greer's time. He was trying to do something with Congress. Like, I can't remember what it was now, but he was trying to do something in our political system to get disclosure to happen. Didn't happen, and I don't know what he's been doing since, but he's back on the air, and he's making a good point, and I'll tell you what that is in a sec. Just bear with me. I think might be a good time for a puff. Yeah, okay. Do a quick puff. That's a long... Trying to clear yourself? Okay. Sexy. I know I'm so sexy. I've always held to what Fernando on Saturday Night Live used to say, which is, well, thank you, I look good. But I always say it's better to look good than to feel good. So I got that going on. I'd like to say hi to some of my fans. Ute, you're my favorite. Jim Boyle, I don't know if you're a fan. You're certainly my best friend from the internet. And Jim and I go all the way back to Whitley Strieber when he used to have, and he still does, have a chat room. But this was like 20 years ago, at least, right? I haven't calculated the exact, but it was... And that's how far back we go. We were wanting the truth back then, and it wasn't forthcoming. So, who else? There are some people that left comments on the YouTube videos, and one of them was Tux TV. And you made my day. I don't even know who you are, but... your comment made my day. It really actually put wind in my sails again to do another video. It's not easy breaking into YouTube and getting popular because you kind of need well, whatever. It's just not easy. I'd like to grow, but I'm going to have to do some things to make that happen. And besides, I don't know how much more I have to say. There's a lot of Bible stuff I'd love to cover, but I've already given you the best bits of my work. And if you don't know what they are, and this is your first time watching, I would recommend going back about 2 videos from here to one that was called "There Is No Original Sin." It's really the best thing I've ever discovered, and I'm excited about it to this very day. And for those of you who do know what that was all about, I wanted to just say one thing too, if you'll allow me to just go back to that subject for a minute. The reason I'm so excited about it is that we get to see Yahweh behind the curtain. We get to pull back the curtain, like in The Wizard of Oz. And we see Yahweh in that story of Adam and Eve lying to them, not maliciously, right? That's not the point. But he did lie, and he lied twice. And the second lie was the interesting one. It was about the pain in childbirth, and what he was really talking about. I mean, what he was secretly thinking, and was that the pain in childbirth is because of the way we genetically engineered you, and it was the best we could do with the larger brains that you're going to have, that you do have, and it's going to cause pain. But he didn't tell him that. He told him that I'm punishing you, and your punishment is going to be pain in childbirth. So when you're reading the Bible, right, and this is something that people take literally, a lot of people, and certainly our ancestors did. They lived on it. And this is in this very story now with 21st century eyes, with the ancient alien theory waking people up, right? We see in our own Bible now that this was not God, right? This was an extraterrestrial race, and this Lord, Yahweh, was, what do I want to say? We see him lying, and we know what he was lying about, and now we know why he was lying. I mean, well, we don't really know why he was lying. I mean, I speculated that the whole thing was just a purpose, an excuse to kick them out of the garden because it was time for them to go start their thing here on the planet. But anyway, that's why I find it so exciting, is because it really is like we pulled back the curtain on The Wizard of Oz and said, aha, oh, so you're not the creator after all. We've been lied to. Par for the course, right? Yeah, we have been lied to, because that was what we were all taught, is the Old Testament. Yeah, he's harsh back then, but that was a different dispensation of God, and now the New Testament is much nicer. So, but it's all interrelated. It's all the same thing. Yeah, no, it's not. The Old Testament is not about God, the Creator. Gonna say that's a 99% sure on my part. So when you're that sure, you just pretty much go out and declare it, and detractors beware, or hit me up anytime you want, because I'm clear on that, and I'm just gonna stick with that. So this is a belief. That's what a belief is. You don't know for sure, but you're convinced in your own mind, and you operate based on that belief being true, for the most part. So yeah. The other thing that happened that I wanted to touch on in the hearing was that one of the representatives who was really on the ball or was well briefed by Lou Elizondo. I'm pretty sure Lou Elizondo briefed these folks and asked them to put into the congressional record the Wilson document. And this was a great move because it could blow the whole thing right up. But it could also just be denied as not a legitimate document. And the two people that are involved in this document that are, speaking to each other, it's a transcript of a conversation. And apparently Admiral Wilson, was the one who wrote the transcript based on his memory of this conversation with Eric Davis. Both men denied that the conversation ever took place, but that's very expected because they would both be in big trouble. Admiral Byrd would be in trouble for disclosing classified information to a civilian who's not cleared, and that was Davis. So Davis and Williams are saying that this never happened. They're not vociferously saying that. They're just saying that. So until we bring them before Congress and say, you have full immunity, nothing to worry about, let's just tell the truth here. Did this happen? And if they say no, so in my opinion, someone's lying because, I feel like I have this ability to read people and texts to find out whether the narrator of the text is really telling the truth or this person who's telling us a story is really telling the truth. To me, it's there are certain tools that you can use. My favorite is Judge Judy. If it doesn't make sense, it's not the truth. So that's one of the rings of truth. There are many, but so I think I can read people pretty well, and who am I trying to read now? I forgot. Well, anyway, about those guys getting in trouble. Yeah, if they're brought before Congress, and if they deny that this document is real, I'm going to think someone's lying, because I'm going to think they're both lying, because when you read through the document, and I would recommend you go to Thomas Fessler channel on YouTube and watch the episode that has that Wilson document, because they go over the whole thing. And Thomas always has really insightful views on this kind of stuff. And let's see. The document, much like the Bible for me, when I read it for the first time as an adult, it had that ring of truth, like it's, they're not really trying to lie here about anything. It doesn't seem like, and I felt that way all the way through the Old Testament. It didn't feel like it was forced or like it had an agenda. It's just disjointed and it's missing a bunch of context, and but it feels real. So that's why I believe that it happened, and that's the only reason. It's not like somebody in church, which I don't go to, but it's not like somebody in church said you must believe this, because that's ridiculous to say that to someone. You must believe. But they're to be fair, they're a lot of them are just parroting what they understood from the Bible, because Jesus did say that believing is a good thing, because he said that because he wants us to know that when he's gone, he's not really gone, and that don't fret when he's gone, because anyway, I digress. I hope you got that, because yeah. So back to the document. It seems real to me. Okay, only took me 10 minutes to say that, but I did get it out. So yeah. So well, are they okay? So it's in the record. Is anybody going to investigate it? Well, some people think that it will trigger an FBI investigation, namely Rob Heatherly over at Pessler Channel. Made that point that it could trigger an FBI investigation because of the leak of classified information, which is fine as long as we give them immunity. But I really want these guys to be called into Congress in a public hearing. And I have a feeling that the fact that they read this into the congressional record means that they know that this is very likely a real conversation and an authentic document. And they probably understand very well why it's being denied right now by the two very much alive people who are involved in this. 1997, was it? Or was it more around 2002? Somewhere in that range is where this document or conversation took place. I'm not going to go into detail about the conversation. I'm just going to sum it up. What it is Davis is telling Wilson that there is this secret special access program that he's heard of that Wilson needs to, look into. And Wilson couldn't believe it. When he tried to get access to the program, they said that you are not cleared for this. And he said, "What do you mean? I'm the director of intelligence." Something like that. I don't know what the title was, but he was a really big head honcho. And they said, "Well, yeah, I mean, your clearance is up to date and your tickets are all valid, but you're not on the bigot list," which was their term for need to know people. They're the bigot list. Don't ask me. So he was dumbfounded by this. He couldn't believe that. So anyway, he gets this call later from these Pentagon officials, and they say, "We don't want to talk about it over the phone. We want you to meet us." And so he goes to meet them in person, and they ask him a bunch of questions, but he doesn't really get to ask them much. And they end up telling him that the whole purpose of the meeting was to tell him that he is not cleared to be read into what all is happening. But I think what happened next was that they stayed with him and continued talking, and they did give him information about what they were working on, and it was recovered craft, alien craft, and it was not made by human hands. That was testified to by the people that were in the project. They were very sure of that, just like Bob Lazar was. The technology is just dazzling in its beauty, in its efficiency, in its design. There's nothing like it. This is from Bob Lazar. So I really felt that one. So anyway, on this document, I'm not giving it justice, but a lot came out, okay? And a lot of other names were mentioned as well. So there could be a lot of hearings or investigations depending on how aggressive Congress is on this. And it looks like they're being pretty aggressive. So the only thing, my only complaint is I'm so tired of waiting. Because what we're watching in the other spheres of our life is a government which is just failing so badly, and there's no hope of it changing. We're going to have probably President Trump again, I think. And, and it's only the fault of the Democrats. Joe Biden hasn't done shit for anybody. And he thinks he's done a good job. He hasn't done shit. No health care. No minimum wage. All the big. I'm not gonna list them all. You know what I'm talking about. He hasn't done shit. So, one of my friends told me long ago, Larry, it's the machinery. It's you got to take things a step at a time. This was back when Biden had just been inaugurated, starting his term. And so, I said, all right, I'll give him some time. And I tried for a couple of months to be positive, and eventually I realized that, he's not going to be doing anything, is he? Nothing at all. So the world is falling apart while we wait for disclosure. And what I'm waiting for, what you should be waiting for, is number one, the technology. I mean, maybe we haven't figured it out, but we have it, and we can demonstrate it. We can turn it on sometime in some cases. But I don't know, nobody knows how far according to the Wilson document, there has been little to no progress. And part of the problem there is that they haven't been allowed to share it with any good outside physicists, because it's all secret. So they, whatever physicists they can bring in and clear to work on this is all they have. So thankfully they haven't figured it out yet. Apparently, that's the feeling I'm starting to get, which is what Bob Lazar predicted. By the way, he said he didn't think that they would figure it out anytime soon, like 50, 100 years. Didn't think so. But he may have been, thinking that, if it's kept secret like that, of course they're not going to figure it out. But what I'm thinking is that disclosure is the first step to meeting, and making contact with the ETs. And if we, as a country, are willing to give up our nuclear weapons, and all the other countries as well, are willing to give those up, they are willing, according to, a meeting that was held between Eisenhower and them, they'd be willing to share their technology with us, and that technology will change the world. It will. You won't have homeless people anymore. You won't have, you won't have to look at your fellow human beings who are suffering and just hold back your tears sometimes, Animals too. The whole world could be uplifted by this technology. The other thing, though, that needs addressing is our state of mind, right? But first things first. Let's stop the bleeding, and then just see what our state of mind is after that. Because I know, God, when I'm in pain, I'm a real bitch. But and Jolie can tell you that. But as soon as I start feeling better, I'm like the drunk, hey, I'm sorry, I feel a lot better now, so I love you, and all that stuff. So, I become real nice. So, let's see what kind of people we are once all this bullshit is over, which is we're being lied to constantly in every realm now, except maybe some corners of YouTube, which I'm, of course, occupying, like Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks and, a few other, and of course, all the UFO channels. By the way, really, there aren't that many UFO channels if you're wondering what I watch. I mostly watch Thomas Fessler, and I find them to be most palatable. Third Phase of the Moon has been around forever, and they're good at getting the videos out there quickly. We don't know. I mean, I personally think that, at least half of them are probably the real thing. They just look like it. So that's another good channel. And then there's not much else. But maybe you know something, and if you do, leave a comment for me, and I'll check it out. What else? Check my notes here. Oh, that really sucks. I had my notes, didn't save them in the cloud, so now they're on a different computer. Anyway, so what did I put in my notes? I know I wanted to discuss the Wilson document, and I've done that. Congress, and I think hopefully things will move forward. So, like I was saying earlier, all is not lost. We're gonna be going forward, and don't give me this 10 or 20 years bullshit. It's I don't see how that's possible. I mean, either we're alone or we're not, right? I mean, we know we're not alone, but the Congress has to tell the people, and the Congress first has to be told. Then they have to tell the people that we are not alone, and from that point forward, everything is going to change, and people are not going to freak out. I keep telling some of these dimwits on the internet that they keep saying, people are going to freak out about aliens being here. No, they're not. No, they're not. You know what freaks people out? Not being able to pay the rent, being evicted, not having enough money for food for your child, not being able to get food for your child, formula. Those kind of things freak people out. Damn right they do, because you'll be thrown out on the street. This ain't no Shangri-La here, man. It's a fucking harsh world. So it's time that this evil world ends and the good world begins, and that's what I'm hoping we're going to phase from one to the next, okay? Yeah, because it has to end very soon. This 10, 20 years stuff is baloney. And I think, like, once we admit to the American public, once they tell us that we're not alone, it's not going to be long before the question comes up, well, can we talk to these ETs and what do they have for us? Because I'll tell you something, they know they owe us something. They've been the Greys, for example. I mean, there's so many different species, and I don't know exactly who's doing. I mean, who we're going to end up talking to? Probably the ones that look like us, and that's going to be the first group, probably. And they're going to explain to us what the Greys have been doing, and then they're going to explain to us that the Greys have a gift for us, and the gift is their payment for everything, the cows that they've been taking and the distress that they've caused to the farmers of those cows, and the secrecy, and of course now all the hybrid children thing that has to come out. Thankfully, they've done a pretty good job because most of the people, from what I can tell, most abductees don't regret their experience. So at least there's that. It's at least on the good side of the good evil equation. It's not evil, because if it was, they would remember and have very negative feelings, and they just, most of them don't. So that's good. I mean, that's a good sign. I think that they're honorable beings, and I think that they're probably very lovable, but they're, they, I guess, don't have much emotion, or if they do, maybe it's hard to read. I don't know. We'll find out. That's one species, right? But anyway, so when all this comes out, I mean, I'm going to assume that we're going to be able to get some technology like med beds. In fact, the space program, if you believe in the secret space program, and I do, I believe the witnesses. I know many of you don't, and that's okay with me, because I'm not sure either. But there's, as I said, my read of the Corey Good is a good example for me. And I know he comes off like such a clod sometimes, and has stupid ideas about how to present his material. But when you hear him tell the story, and it just for me, okay, it just never rings false. It always rings true. And boy, I mean, since he came out with his story, I've seen at least 15 other people who have come forward and said they remember parts of their 20 and back. And they're not all the same as Corey's. And then Corey comes out and says, hey, you shouldn't be listening to any of these other secret space program people except us, because we're the only ones that are really telling the truth. And boy, that to me, it really discredited him. But he actually didn't say that in person. He said that supposedly these briefs that he was getting from the Galactic Federation, or I don't know what he calls it, but yeah, enough of that. But I'm just saying, technology is going to be coming out. Med beds, right? You heard that right. So, in these med beds, the technology is, I've talked about it. It's regenerative technology. So you could regrow a limb if you were missing it, but it also fixes whatever's wrong with you, and it regenerates the good cells and gets rid of the cells that are that have lost their programming, and aren't operating efficiently anymore. So this thing is and it can take years off your life. So it's remarkable technology, and like I said, I don't think that we understand it, but we do have it if you believe the people in the secret space program. So we'll see what's coming, but I am actually of the belief that I am not going to be dying before I see that come out. And So we'll see whether I'm right about that. And one of the reasons I believe that, I'll just be really honest with you, if that doesn't happen, if it's just more of this until I die, then my life has been a complete sham, and somebody's got a lot of fucking explaining to do, because I haven't enjoyed a single bit of it. And I've had the worst luck in the world. Short of being a disaster and out on the street, my life has just not been worth living. And I don't say that to be depressing. I'm saying this as a logical thing here. I believe that those above us really are good, like Jesus, and or whoever you believe in, Muhammad, Buddha, well, whatever. I believe that those who are above us are better than us. Like better in the sense of wiser, right? And kinder than we might expect. And that we're probably in their hands, although it's very unclear, because I don't see any evidence that they have done anything, to help us. We've been suffering here for a long time. But from what I can gather, this is a school. It's a school of hard knocks. And I know I'm going on pretty long here. I'll get to tonight's event. Well, how long have I been on? Let me see. God, 47 minutes already. I think maybe I might just not do this tonight, because I really just wanted to come on and vent. That's what I really feel like doing right now. And I think you might enjoy that more than this story, which is, I was going to cover, the Transfiguration, and I'm going to cover it. Like, I'll probably do the next show tomorrow night or something, because I'm back in the groove now. But, I really want everyone. I won't be happy until everyone's happy. And boy, I think, the possibilities of what could happen are just so exciting to me. Imagine, let's say that Jesus came back, and let's say that he had this magic where he could have everyone have this same kind of experience, but they would all think that it was just them. Like, so he comes back and he meets me in my apartment, and he says, I know what you've been wanting to do. You want to do some of it right now? And I would smile and say yes, and we would walk out, and we would make some, let's say, some trips to some casinos. And Jesus and I would walk in and have a little chat with the owner. And Jesus, being able to read the owner's mind, is able to convince this man that he knows everything about him. And he's not here to judge him. He's just here to request some money be given to us, because we're going to go out and do some good things in the world. And we know that you would really like to contribute to that. Kind of like that. Jesus isn't going to be like a mafia guy, right? yeah, you might want to help out. Otherwise, I know your son, Billy. He's a good kid. But, it'd be a shame if something happened to him. No, that's not Jesus. But anyway, they got so much fucking money, right? And it's from people who are stupid enough to. Well, I don't want to insult people. I'm one of them that's been there a couple of times, and I loved blackjack. It was great. I did lose some money though. But it's kind of ill-gotten gains, so I figured that's where he would get his funding to do some real, nuts and bolts things in the world. So that this time he wouldn't have to say, "Oh, the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." So, but what we wanted to do together, me and him, was that we were going to go to the prisons, and we're going to go and heal all the prisoners' minds and, set them free in hopefully a really fun way. But just my joy will be just seeing them, seeing their minds relieved, crying, some of them, because we're gonna, set them all free, and we're gonna blow up the fucking prison, and then the smoke will rise, and we'll capture it in a picture and put it on a package of new brand of cigarettes called Holy Smokes. Am I crazy, Stark Raven? Probably. You probably think so. But maybe not. I hope not. Because I'm not. But, and then just being able to go to some children in the hospital that are suffering from cancer and just healing them, giving sight to the blind, hearing to the deaf like me. Well, I'm not deaf, but in one ear I'm completely deaf now. Just watching everyone get healed, it would be so much fun. One at a time, just because it's so much fun. But that would take forever, so. Anyway, he knows I'd like to do things like that. But I don't know if it'll ever happen. I have a feeling that, it's not going to be an arduous task to get, to harvest us, so to speak. I hate to use those terms, but I feel like they may just have like an ace up their sleeve, like telepathy, for example, something with telepathy. They turn it on for everybody, and that I know that scares some people, but the thing about it is that, in my experience, the telepathic connection with someone like that, I don't know who it was. If it was Jesus, it sure felt like it. But you very quickly fall in love with whoever you're communicating with, because the intimacy is just there immediately, and it's not threatening. So, bottom line is, I do think that great things are coming for us all. We really do have a bright future. But like I said, if none of that happens in my life, if none of the UFO stuff or the Jesus stuff happens, and I just end up getting older and more pain and more sick and die like everyone else has done before me, then I'm just going to really be pissed. And I'm going to realize that there really wasn't any justice in the universe. There wasn't anyone who said, yeah, at the end of his life, he'll be happy, because that wasn't going to be the case. So I'm not happy. Not happy at all. None of us should be at this point because what we're seeing now is deception on a grand scale. I mean, it's just blatant, and it's in every part. By the way, when I was talking about who's going to freak out, there are going to be some people that are going to freak out, and I'm glad about those ones because you know who they are? The ones that acted like they knew what the fuck they were talking about all this time in the evangelical megachurches and all their flock. It's going to be a great lesson for them. But the leaders are going to freak out because this means the end of their power. So however long it takes, however long that that transition takes between the time that we are declared that we're not alone and the time that more and more information starts coming out from first contact and truth, or what they say is the truth. We'll judge. We'll be the ones to judge what they say about stuff. But that shit better happen. Because otherwise there's no justice in the universe. Or you might say, yeah, well, Larry, you'll get up to heaven and you'll be glad you went through it. And, I'm sure that when I and by the way, I don't know what heaven is, but I'm just taking Jesus at his word, right? That and it's not just Jesus. All these near-death experiencers have really given us a great message that there's nothing to fear. Death is a relief, and it will be for all of us. Even if you love this life, and I know some of you still do, especially the women, they just don't want to give up. They want to fix things, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's just interesting that it's interesting that there is a gender difference there. The men are sick and tired of this place, and the women are, still in love with the beauty of our creation, which of this creation. I mean, and I think that's what it is. They don't want to give up on it, but they don't have to worry. It's all going to be great. And we're all going to be women. Inside joke there. I hope you get it. So yeah, I thought I was going to give some space to let the higher beings talk, and I don't know if they have. Feels like it's pretty much just been me proving that I can still do this. So anyway, very soon now, in a couple of days, I'll go ahead and do another video. But I think for now, let's kind of phase this out here again. Glad to see you again. Hope you're doing well. We are living in interesting times. And I'll see you next time.